Right, okay, let's quickly mark. There's 1A and B. Number? Okay, so the left-hand side was 2 to the power of something, right? So that was my clue that on the right-hand side, I also wanted my base to be 2 to the power of 2 to the power of something. So instead of 16, I'm going to say 2 to the power of 4. Okay, now, when I do that, you will see that base is 2 on both sides. So that means that I can only go look at exponents. So that's why I say x plus 1, make that equal to 4. So you'll see that in my next step. Okay, and then from there, I took this plus 1 over, so it becomes minus 1, and that's how I get the 3. Okay. Sorry? What were the numbers? 1 and 2. Okay, any questions at B? Right, can I skip? I did ask. Kom, jy is besig om te eet. Ma. Are you done? Right, there's C and D. Quickly have a look. Okay, let me do C for you guys. So at C, same thing. Because I had a base of 2 on the left-hand side, I wanted to make the right-hand side also 2 to the power of something. Now, do you guys know how to get those? Yeah, bro. You say 32 equal and then shift fact. And then it usually gives you that 2 to the power of 5. Okay. Now you can see that over here my base is 2 and over there base is 2. No? So if base is the same, then we know we only have to look at exponents. So I take the minus x equal to 5. That's how I got here. Any questions up until there? Okay, now you will see that I have minus x. But we don't want minus x. We usually have x is equal to something. No. So to get rid of that minus, so it looked like this. All I'm going to do is you can either say times minus 1 or divide by minus 1. So if I divide, because we divide by the coefficient, and that's actually minus 1. So divide by the coefficient, which means that on this side, the minus 1 and the minus 1 will cancel out. So x and 5 divided by minus 1 will give me minus 5. Does it now make more sense?
Yeah, I got the right way. I like making it a mixed fraction.
Okay. Right. Any questions at D? Please remember that at D, when we have something like this where we've got 8 and 16, obviously bases aren't the same. And I can't make my base on this side 8 to the power of something because you'll never get 16. 2 times 8 gives me 16, but I mean, I can't use that. No? So what we do is we take those bases and say shift fact. So 8 is the same, have a look, 8 to the power of x. If I do that, instead of 8, I can say 2 to the power of 3. Still to the power of x. And now what do we do when we've got a power to the power? We multiply them, and that's why it becomes 2 to the power of 3x. And if you take 16 and say shift fact, it gives you the 2 to the power of 4. Yeah.
In case it's taken on the second negative. You see, ma'am, here it's going to be 38. Then where did this other 2 go? And then where did that 4? Like,
Okay, wait. So you're fine up until there.
yes, ma'am.
Okay, now, because base is 2 on both sides, it means I can now only go look at exponents. So 3x equal to 4. There we go.
And bro, the 3x?
Oh, so you leave out the 2.
Yeah, because they're the same. No.
And bro,
Yeah.
did you get the 3x?
Yeah, I explained.
Oh.
There's the 3x. Get it?
Yeah, bro. Funny enough, I got this one right. I don't know how.
What was your steps?
Bro, I say 8x equal to 16. Bro, second step was 8x. I don't know if it's bro, I think I did it the same way because I asked my dad for this one. And my dad like, do this one. Then I thought I understand it, bro. Then,
Okay, hold on. Does anyone else have a question here? Okay, quickly mark that one for me. I'm going to come and explain now. So just quickly copy. Give me a sec.
what did my principal?
What did I do?
My dad was a principal before.
I just go anymore. Don't like that. Show off. Reach down. Just a few jokes. What did I do? I just looked at you and then you tell me.
But she doesn't know how
Right, so yesterday we said when we have decimals, the first step, yeah? What's wrong?
Yeah, bro, step is just a headache, you're from there. It's just COVID. It's just COVID.
Okay, listen. So that decimal, I want to change to a fraction. So that will become 8 over 1,000. No? Okay, now that 8 over 1,000, you will see that your calculator automatically from that gives you 1 over 125. So it's fine if you skip from there to here. Okay, now once we get that 1 over 125, that 1 over 125 is the same as 5 to the power of minus 3. Right? Any questions about that? Now you will see that the base is 5 on both sides. And when base is the same, I can only look at exponents. So now I say 2x is equal to 2x minus 1 is equal to minus 3. You guys fine with that?
Bro,
Now from there, yes?
if you stop there, bro,
No, you're not going to get all your marks, obviously.
so will you get a few marks?
Maybe 1 or 2. Okay, now I've got to treat it as a normal equation. So I take the minus 1 over and it becomes plus 1. That's how I get, because minus 3 plus 1 will give me minus 2. Do you guys understand? Okay, now I want to get rid of that coefficient, this one. So I divide by 2. And minus 2 divided by 2 gave me minus 1. Any questions? Yeah? This one. Okay, so what I did is 1 over 125 is the same as 1 over 5 to the power of 3. And then this, I want to take to the top part of my fraction. And when I do that, the sign changes. So it becomes to the power of minus 3. Okay. Mr. Funk, do you want to go sign out? Is he alright?
When the eyes are red.
Lose form. Can I skip? Anyone still copying here? Right. Have a look at F. Remember, again, that decimal, I've got to write in the form of a fraction. So that will be 1 over 10,000. Now, 1 over 10,000 is the same as 1 over 10 to the power 4. But I take that to the top, and that's why it becomes 10 to the power of minus 4. Okay. And now you'll see base is 10 on both sides. So I can only look at exponents. So therefore, x is equal to minus 4. Any questions there? Okay. Now at number 2, we said we've got to use that, the examples that I did yesterday about what's the opposite of a square? Square root. Opposite of a cube? Cube root. So opposite of to the power of 3/4 would be 3/4 root. No? I know. Sorry? No. Okay, so any questions at 2A? Right, then at B, there was an added step here. When we wrote down those steps, we said we first got to get rid of the coefficient and then lastly get rid of the exponent. So when I get rid of this the coefficient, that's 2 times x to the power of minus 2/3. So if I take it over, it will become 32 divided by 2, and that's how I get the 16. You guys fine with that? Okay. Then, now I want to get rid of that exponent. So opposite of that will be minus 2/3 root of 16. And that will give you 1 over 64. It doesn't feel or sound right. Huh? Can I skip? Anyone still copying? Okay. There's C, same thing here. I first had to get rid of that coefficient. So that's a 3rd times x to the power 5. So if I take it over, it will become divided by a 3rd. And that's how I get the 243. Now I want to get rid of this exponent. So I've got to say 5th root. That sounds better. Of 243. And that will give me 3. Then D, the last one, is actually the easiest one. So what I had to do here is first take the minus 4 over, and that will become plus 4. So that is how I get the 250. Okay. Then, next up, I want to get rid of the coefficient, so I'm going to divide by 2, and that's how I get the 125. Now I want to get rid of that cube, and opposite of that is cube root, and that means that x will be 5. Okay. Any question, people? No, sorry. Okay. So, next up. Yeah? Yeah. Okay, right. So, your homework. Have a look. Number 1. Julle kan nou kom kyk, relax. Number 1, hold on. A, B, D, H. The full number 2 and the full number 3. Okay? That is your homework.